Hello children, I am Suma, Economics Lecturer, Gopal Swami Independent PU College, Mysuru. In this session of first PUC Economics, today we are learning about the 7th lesson in Indian economic development. The 7th lesson is about employment, growth, informalization and other issues. So, today in this session we are learning about the need for employment. Why do people work? What is the necessity of employment? What is the necessity of a person being employed? What are the contributions of an employed person to a country? So all these we are learning in this session. So before we move towards the topic, I would like to quote the saying of Sir M. Visvesvaraya, our Bharata Ratna, Sir M. Visvesvaraya, that is, industrialize or perish. An empty mind is a devil's workshop. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಬೇಡದ ಯೋಚನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿ ಹಾಕಿಕೊಂಡು ಬೇಡದ ಕೆಲಸಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಫೋರ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಅವರ್ Sir M. Visvesvaraya, that is, we should industrialize or perish. So let us take this, we should industrialize ourselves. Industrialize ಅಂದರೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಒಂದು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಇರಬೇಕು ಆ ಥರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಉದ್ಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರತನಾಗಿರು ಅಂದರೆ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ರಿಯಾಶೀಲನಾಗಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಉದ್ಯೋಗಂ ಪುರುಷ ಲಕ್ಷಣಂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಇನ್ ಟುಡೇಸ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್, in today's concept, it is changed. Today udyogam is manushya lakshanam, that is, each person should engage himself or herself in a productive activity. ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಯಾಶೀಲವಾದ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದು ಹಣವನ್ನು ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡೋ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರತರಾಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೇಷನ್ ರೇಟ್ ತುಂಬ ಬೇಗ ಏರಿಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಣದುಬ್ಬರ ಏರಿಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಟುಡೇ ದ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೇಷನ್ ರೇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಡೇ ಬೈ ಡೇ, and whatever the properties the parents have kept for us, or whatever the income savings that our parents have kept for our future, will not come to a longer period. So whatever they may be there, they will not feed us to the lengthy duration of our lifetime because of the increasing inflation. The price hike is a major problem in this today's world economy, and therefore we need to earn for ourselves. Earlier, during the yesteryears, we have seen that only the men in the family used to go for work and all the others were sitting at home and eating. He had to take care of his parents, his wife, his children as well as himself. For this reason only, today the concept has been changed, that each person in a family should be engaged in any one of the productive activity. If they are children with an age of learning or education, they should engage themselves in the job of studying or learning. So each person in this world is engaged with one or the other job. That is, if he is a student, his job is to study. If he is an employed person, his job is to listen to his employer and work accordingly. ನಿಮಗೆ ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ತಿಳಿದಿದೆ, ಕೂತು ತಿಂದರೆ ಕುಡಿಕೆ ಹೊನ್ನು ಸಾಲದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಹೊನ್ನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಚಿನ್ನ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ದ property, whatever may be the savings of those ancestral properties were large or were huge or heavy for that particular economical period, and it is not the same for this extended period of their grandchildren also. So there is a need to go for work for each and every person, because they can contribute to the growth of their family and economical progress of their family, as well economical development of their society and for the GDP of their country. So everywhere today employment is a very important aspect around the world. So now let's see, why do people work? Why people have a necessity to work, we have all understood now. But why do they work? Many of them are having very good income from the family sources itself, or the husband may be having good job, or they are having some other sources of income that they are going to enjoy throughout their life as they have planned. But still people are going for work. Why? This is because it connects them to the outside world. They get a kind of self-worth and they can meaningfully be related to others in the society if they are employed. So there are lots of social reputations that can be enjoyed by a person, whether it is a male or a female. Everyone should be engaged in the earning. So therefore people work to earn a living. They want to increase their standard of living, because these days the concept of cost of living is increasing day by day. The expenditure what we were spending to run a family of 4 members some 10 years ago has been doubled now. So therefore we need to have all kinds of necessaries. Whatever were the luxuries in the yesteryears are called as the necessaries of these era. So therefore we need to buy everything. We need to feed the family and ourselves with good quality food, and we need to fetch our children a standard education in a very good school. Therefore for all these we need to save and we need to earn. For savings we need to earn first. So therefore the earning is very important, and people work to earn a living for themselves as well as for their dependents. So this need to work, it gives them a self-respect. Therefore people work, and if we work we can meet our requirements, and also we can even satisfy the requirements of the elderly people who are dependent on us, and also the children who are dependent on us. And the people's participation in the progress of a country improves the value of that country, and they can improve and develop themselves in terms of GDP. So working people constitute the biggest human resource of the country. As we learnt in our previous lesson, that is human capital, a human or a child is born, but after getting education and attaining certain qualification and skills, the child becomes the human capital. It converts itself into the capital, and this conversion makes it a human resource, and a skilled human resource is the biggest resource of the country. So the concept of work today has been changed. It is not that earlier during those days if a person is working means he had to go out of the home and he had to depend on any kind of transportation, and he was supposed to work in any of the factory or industries or in farming activity. Somewhere he had to engage himself. But today the concept of work has been changed. By sitting at home only they can work. So only the new word called as work from home has emerged from last 10-15 years, that people are doing the programming work and other allied activities related to IT industry at the home itself, and the work from home culture has been introduced. Next we will see why we should study about the employment. What is the need to know about employment? Being first PUC students, what is the necessity for you to learn about the employment? So now let us see what is the use for you in learning about employment. We have to know about the employment because it helps us to know about the contribution made by different sectors to the GDP of our country. Children, you all know that there are 3 major sectors. The first one is primary sector, second one is secondary sector, and the third one is tertiary sector. The tertiary sector. primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Primary sector is one which helps the people to involve themselves in the activities related to natural resources, agricultural, farming activities, mining activities, any activity related to water resources like fishing and marine employment opportunities, all these are related to primary. Then people work in the forests and this cutting of woods and manufacturing the things with the wood, all these are the primary industries. Secondary industries, cutting of the wood comes under primary industry and converting that wood into a dining table or into furniture becomes a part of secondary industry. Then the tertiary industry is there. Tertiary industry is one which has insurance activities, banking activities, transportation activities, communication activities and entertainment industry, all these come under service industry. So, all these are the major sectors of income generation. So, today tertiary sector is contributing more to the GDP of our country than the other two industries, because today the BPO, the new word has emerged called as business process outsourcing, and every other industry is outsourcing the knowledge and skills of the persons who can easily enable them to achieve their goals, and in turn they are also earning some salary or some amount of money for that. So, we can call this as service providing agencies, or in regular normal way they call it as call centers. So, not only these, everything has been being outsourced today. So, today there are lots of opportunities. Some 30 years ago there was only limited opportunity and there were only limited entrepreneurs who were into the catering industry. But today the catering industry has emerged as a giant industry, and in every city of our country you can find this, and this is the one important tertiary industry that is contributing to the GDP of our country. So, again we will come back to the need for learning about employment. We have to know about the causes for the poverty and unemployment that is in our country. So, to know about the causes of unemployment, first we should learn about the employment situation in our country, and to eradicate the poverty, in what all the ways we can overcome the situation of poverty. To know about that also we need to study about employment, because India is still a country of poverty hit people. People below the poverty line are still existing in our country, and therefore we need to uplift their lifestyle, and for that only private sector people and the government have joined together and they are taking stringent measures to uplift the situation of poverty. And by next 30 years India has a major goal that India should not have poverty situation only, because nowadays the eradication of this poverty and through poverty alleviation program has been very active, but still the overpopulation of our country is not permitting us to declare ourselves as the poverty free country. So, knowing about the employment will help us to address the social issues like child labor and the problems of marginalized workers like destitute women or the tribal area people, those who are not having any kind of access towards the education or skill development. And for to study about all these people's lifestyle and the reasons for their poverty, we need to study about employment. So, now let us see about what is the meaning of employment, or who is a worker and what is work. The meaning of employment itself is that involvement of a person in any of the economic activities. Any activity which generates some sort of income to any person is called as economic activity. See, for example, we can see about that there are lots of labors available in our country, and all the labor resources, each person has a kind of labor within him and he is ready to work using that labor, but all those who are willing to work are not called as the workforce, because they should be actively involved themselves in the work, and then only they are called as the workers. See, for example, farmer goes to the agricultural land, he cultivates, he grows cotton as a byproduct. In his farming land, he has put the paddy, as well as at the edges he has cultivated any fruit bearing tree or cotton. So, this is the primary sector production, what? The cotton obtained through the cotton trees. Then the same cotton is brought to the secondary sector, that is to an industrialist who converts the cotton into cloth, that is to a textile industry where cotton is woven, it is converted into cloth. So, this conversion of one raw material into one finished product is called as the industry. Again, the threads are the medium for the conversion of cotton to cloth, and these threads are the outcome or output of one of the textile industry, and using these threads the cloths are created, woven. So, using this cloths, the garments industry converts them into different kinds of attire, that is, that can be used by different persons and different females and males with different sizes and assortment. So, cotton first grows on a farmland, then it comes to a textile industry where it is this cotton is converted into thread, and then it is converted into, when this converted cloth enters a tertiary industry, that is garment industry, it becomes a attire. So, there are three stages from cotton being converted into a cloth. So, here in all these three stages, you know that one or the other person or few persons are involved in this conversion process, and they are all called as employed persons. They are all the employees of one or the other sector and one or the other factories or industries. So, the money value of such goods which are produced on the land and which are converted in an industry and which are converted into a ready-made goods is the GDP. The value of all such goods that are converted in these industries and also the money value of all services that are provided through these service providers togetherly constitute the GDP of our country, the gross domestic product. This gross domestic product is added with the exports money. This GDP is again converted into gross national product. The gross domestic product is converted into gross national product. If our exports exceed from the imports, if our exports are more than our imports, we have income. We can get more income because our exports are exceeding than our imports. If our imports are greater than our exports, we have to pay money for importing the goods, and this imported goods payment will reduce our income. Here we can add money to our GDP, and here it is reducing our GDP. And if imports and exports equal, there is no loss and no profit situation. GDP itself will be converted into GNP, that is gross national product. So, this gross national product is again converted into the net national product, that we will learn in our future lessons. So, the employment, why do we have to know about employment, is to have an access about the development of our country, and and what is the situation of economy in our country in which I am presiding, and how could it be improved, or what are the ways that can be undertaken to improve the economical situation of our country. So all those activities, maybe they are primary sector activities or secondary sector activities or tertiary sector activities, all those activities which are involved in the generation of money and they are adding to the GDP are called as economic activities. In India, the employment is multifaceted, that is different types of employments are found in our country today. Like earlier there were only few types, that is only people were engaged either in primary sector or in secondary sector. This tertiary sector service providers concept is a new concept, and today it is providing lots and lots of employment opportunities. So the nature of employment varies from place to place and it varies from person to person. A person is capable of stitching 10 shirts or another person may be capable of stitching 15 shirts within the same stipulated time. It is depending on their strength, their capacity and their ability. And again, in the rural areas, the nature of employment has been changed. Today, the concept of agriculture is being diversified, as we discussed in our previous session, that there are lots of agro-based industries emerging in the rural areas, and the marketing of agricultural products has been shifted from direct selling to the multinational channels chain. So therefore, the employment that is being undertaken in all these activities are also a part of the total employment. So this total employment and the total participation of people in the working culture of a country involves the abstinence of the workers for work for few days due to ill health, due to bad weather conditions, festivals, due to the religious causes person, and also due to the physical disability of a person. The workforce may stay abstained for few days in a month. But this abstinence will not lead them to lose their money at any cost. They are having their income as a monthly salary, and for all these 4-5 days or 1 week, if they stay abstained for all these ill health or physical disability or for bad weather or for religious functions or family functions, for then also they are paid, because they are the contributors for our GDP, and they are paid even on the days for which they are absent also. So therefore, the workforce in India has helped us to grow more and compete with the other countries also. So we can compete with the other countries by developing our country's economic situation, and as well as we can even help the improvement of our country's progress also. Earlier there were only seasonal employment opportunities in the farming activities. Because of the acceptance of these multiple cropping system, the farming activity has been extended to all the 12 months of a year. Here everyone gets the wages for their work, and the multiple cropping system as well as mixed farming system both have helped the agricultural dependent laborers to earn their living throughout the 365 days of a work, and therefore lots of researches and studies are going on to engage the rural people on all the 365 days in work and help them to earn their living on each day. So in the name of seasonal employment, many of the rural population were migrating to the areas, and this has been stopped in the recent years. So with this I conclude this session, children. For next session we learn about the types of work and types of labor. Thank you.